JamesSellers.com's vlog number 4. And I have a privilege to be sitting here with one of the homies. Man, we known each other since 7th grade.
7th grade.
7th grade, you're talking about 20 plus years. And it's an honor and privilege to have James Carter on the vlog with me, man.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you having me.
Definitely, man. Definitely, man. And for all y'all that are viewing, James here is one of the dopest health and fitness coaches that's out there right now. And I had to get him on the vlog. I had to, do some content with him because he's always giving the people the feedback that we need about health, man. First and foremost, want to tell you thank you for everything you give us, man. I look at all the Facebook. So, it's just awesome, man. It's a privilege. I had to link up with him. I had to connect with this brother because, you guys need some of this information, man. So, like I said, it's been some years, man.
It has been a long time.
Yeah.
It's good catching up with you. And, thanks for having me on your vlog and, putting content out there for your people. I just want to spread the message of health because it's really important to me.
Man, definitely. And the reason I really, put him on this episode because going into 2017, a lot of people, if you saw the last vlog, a lot of people have that, that New Year's resolution where they really want to get into the gym. They really want to start taking care of their body. So, rather than hearing it from my mouth, I had to bring a professional. I had to get somebody. So James, man, how long have you been, like on the path to fitness, man? When did you start?
And I'm trying to think. I'm 16 years old, so 31 now, 15 years strong. And what got me started was I was a skinny kid. You remember I was a little guy, quiet, very reserved.
Hey, shout out to the skinny gang.
Yeah, man. Lacked a lot of confidence. And I'll never forget, I was in a movie theater, and it was a preview for SWAT. And I remember they showed a clip like LL Cool J with his shirt off, and like the girls was like screaming. I was like, man, I want that reaction. So I'm like, I'm gonna start lifting weights. So that's what kind of kicked it off.
That's dope.
And then, I signed up for a gym class that was weightlifting based, and just fell in love with it. I would lift before school, and I would lift after school with the football team, and I would read every muscle magazine that I could. If I saw a guy who was bigger than me, I would ask him for advice. Like I just really, really wanted it. It became an obsession to just get bigger and to build my confidence. And as time went on, it shifted from just pure looks and football performance to health and well-being and wellness. Because when I was 19, I had to volunteer at a retirement home. And what I saw was actually quite depressing. I saw a lot of people who pretty much been left for dead. A lot of them, families pretty much abandoned them, never came to visit. And these, people were, somewhere in a vegetative state. Right. A lot of medication, sickly. And I told myself, like, I will never, ever, ever, ever live like this. I want to, if I have to eat right, keep exercising. I don't care, like, what my schedule of life is like. I will not live like this. I'm going to make health my number one priority. And I've been on that health path ever since. And it just so happens that a lot of people think that lifting weights or, playing sports and health are two different planes. No, actually, you can train to be a high-level athlete and also be a healthy athlete at the same time. Right. A lot of people kind of don't blend the two, but you actually can. And I'm pretty excited about that because, people look at me as an athlete. They don't look at Jimmy as like holistic nutrition sort of guru. They look like, oh, Jimmy with the 43-inch vertical and the 40-yard dash, former college football player. So, by coaching a healthy athlete, I kind of can get the message out there and, provide that content and plant those seeds and grow that. Because that's what my real passion is. Sports performance is cool. Speed and agility, that's all great and all, but really health because, there's a big issue there. Yeah. People are dying, a guy in our class we grew up with, passed away in his sleep at 30 years old a few months ago. Things like that shouldn't be happening. Right, it's unfortunate. Another guy we went to high school had a stroke and died, a month later. Another student, last year passed away from autoimmunity. All these things are going on that we're seeing in 30-year-olds that we once didn't see to, adults returning 60 or 70. So that's an issue. something's wrong there. And it's my mission to really just help as many people prevent any of these issues of illness, inflammation, disease, and low energy. I just want people to be healthy, live good, and live life to the fullest.
Man, that's awesome, man. I mean, it it made me think of when you said that it's a difference in a healthy athlete and athlete that trains. I remember playing when I played basketball in school. I walked on in my school, and my diet because I needed to gain weight. I was eating Wendy's every day, McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I was 20, 21 years old, but like you said, I was not healthy at all.
Right.
And to me, I'm thinking I'm gaining. I'm just eating all this, consuming all this junk food.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it wasn't beneficial for my health.
Not at all.
I mean, that's real strong that he's able to really look at that health aspect about that, man. So that's awesome, man. Just hearing that, like I said, you're looking for where we came from, man. That is so awesome, dude. Like, man, salute to you, man. That's huge, man.
Appreciate it.
So I know you said you brought about the LL Cool J, and you said, hey, I want that body, and then eventually turn to the health. Like, kind of touch on how you kind of turn your passion into your career.
All right, so good question, by the way. So again, it became like an obsession, and as time went on, it grew and grew, and I just studied more. And even in college, I would take really challenging science classes just so I could know everything about the body. So I would take cell biology.
Mm-hmm.
I would take chemistry to understand how like food impacted by cellular and chemical level. Like, just that's how deep the passion was.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, like I didn't look at myself as ever being a personal trainer or a strength coach or any of those things. This was just for me. I wanted to go to the NFL, and I wanted to look the best that I could. And I didn't have the money for a personal trainer, so I had to teach myself. So that's how serious it became. But it was actually a few years out of college where I was training. I still had aspirations of playing pro ball. And it was three guys from the neighborhood who, they were all buddies. They all had just left their college, and they were about to transfer to Eastern Illinois. And they wanted to try to walk onto their football team. They were like, hey, Jimmy, can we work out with you? And I hear this all the time. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Right.
Most people, they say that they're just talking. They're not trying to work out.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, cool. This is when I train. I gave them exact times. I trained twice a day. I would go to the local high school in the morning, work out at the track for my conditioning. Then I would lift weights later in the day. I told them, like, these are times to work out. If you're serious about this, be here. Now, mind you, I haven't trained anybody besides myself because I want them to make their team. So I would stay up late and study even more and just really become more organized with my program and see how well I can teach them. And they responded great. They all made their team. Their 40-yard dash time dropped. And, they used to always go like, man, this shit works. That was the phrase they came use for young guys. That's what they used to always say.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty cool to see that. I was like, wow, man, I think I got something. I think I'm pretty good at this.
Nice.
So that's when I kind of looked into some graduate school programs, and I came across one that I've already had the requirements for. Filled out the application, got accepted. So I got my master's degree in exercise science.
Man,
and
that's dope.
as fate would have it, I wound up working out at a gym. I was specifically for athletes, acceleration sports performance. And while working out, I was talking with the head trainer and the owner. And he just happened to ask, like, Jimmy, so what do you do? I was like, oh, man, still trying to play ball, still hold on to the dream. But I just finished graduate school, and I got a degree in exercise science. He's like, that makes sense. So, like, what do you mean? He's like, I never trained anybody who's so knowledgeable what we do here. And then he offered me a job. So I've been doing that ever since.
Man, that's dope.
So that's kind of how it all fell into place. But if you had asked me at 18, 19, 20 years old, I'd be like, oh, no, I'm not getting into training or teaching anybody. So, but it's cool, Steve Harvey said it best. The world, will make room for your gift.
Yes. Man, that's so dope. And again, like you said, it was something that, some young guys, said, hey, man, I want to train with you. And he saw how good, and they got results. And then it was something that he loved to do. And eventually, looking down the line, he stuck with it and it ended up getting turned into a career. So, man, that's awesome, man. So it's like, on that line, so we looking back at those guys, right? Like I said, they at least the good thing about them, they took the initiative to go. Being in your field, what do you see people like? Why do a lot of people struggle with the consistency to get in the gym? Like, now I would say this, some people are like, oh, I don't want to deal with the pain and things like that. It's just like, that's like the first time. But
Right.
like, what do you see? Like, why do people struggle with that?
I think the biggest reason is the mindset. And what I mean by that is, as a society in general, health is not made a priority. It's not. I mean, we're bombarded at a young age with, commercials of nothing but junk food, sugary treats, fast food. They're not really promoting any sort of health or wellness. So that seed's getting planted at a very young age. And as we get older and as time goes on, and we're so bombarded with this message of, unhealthy habits, it just becomes ingrained in our personality, and the mindset is just off. Like, for example, people look at me how I eat and think I'm the weirdo. Like, you have how many cups of kale a day? I'm like, 9, because that's what I'm supposed to have. Like, I want to be healthy. Like, well, how many bags of chips did you eat today? Like, how many pops did you drink? Like, but I'm looked at as the weirdo.
Right.
And it's just the mindset. So that's the biggest struggle. And that's where I came up with Ingrained to Train, because I understood that we got to get the mind right first.
Yes.
I can give you the best program with the most science and proven results, but if it's not right up here, you're not going to be able to do it. So that's the biggest thing is with consistency. It's just the mindset. You got to get your mind right first.
Oh, man, y'all here. You're here first. So, like, with that, I said going into, I know, we had to talk, and myself going into life coaching. Do are you dipping and dabbing with as far as being a health and fitness coach?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually just put together a program that's going to launch within the next week or so, a healthy lifestyle coaching program. With the goal is to help people shift their mindset, shift the perspective, and provide that support that they need to be consistent. I think of it this way: every great athlete, every great success story had some sort of coach or mentor.
Yes.
The worst thing that somebody can do is try to go about this journey alone, because you don't know what you're doing. You're going to deal with a lot of mental hurdles. You're going to, probably not have a great support system, unfortunately. So that's where the coach is going to come into play, to be there for you, to provide that accountability, that support, to teach you what you need to do and hold you accountable to make sure you're doing the things that you need to do daily to get those results.
Man, that's awesome, man. And fortunately, when I got into the coaching program, I was blessed to get a coach, and he's actually a fitness coach also, and that's the piece that he does. He has that the life coach, and he also has the fitness and health coach. So I think what you're doing, man, that's awesome, man. And we definitely you're gonna see more content from us, once we kind of start going further in our career of coaching. So that's, man. So with that question. Since I know, and we see that it is important. Like, what would you say would be like some action steps for like some of the viewers who, kind of, on the fence, struggling? They want to get in there. They want pretty much some good results. What are some action steps to get that push, get them going?
Well, first thing first, if you're not getting the results that you're looking for, you need to look at yourself in the mirror. You got to accept that you're not doing something right. You may think that you're doing the right thing, but the results aren't there. There's something that you're not doing. You just have to accept the responsibility, which is okay. That's the first step to making the changes. It's not the easiest step, saying it's your fault, but I'm telling you, I did it personally with myself when things weren't going right in my life. I had to look myself in the mirror and say, look, you don't have a job right now. You're broke right now. You're not in the NFL right now. It's your fault. Quit blaming other people. But once I did, it's like a weight was lifted off my shoulder, and it was a clarity. Now it's like, all right, now, what do I change? So some action steps is first, pretty much saying like, hey, I'm own up to it. This is on you.
No excuses.
Right?
No excuses.
And then from there, write down your goals. Ask yourself, well, why do I want these goals? Why do I want to lose 20 pounds? Why do I want to go to the gym? A lot of people just kind of go and do. Don't really know why. You gotta have the why down, because without the why, you don't have a strong enough reason to really go and overcome the challenges and the hurdles, because there's going to be setbacks. There's no smooth sailing to these fitness goals. you're going to get challenged. You're going to get hurt. You're going to be sore. Things are going to happen. You're going to have to be able to overcome that. If you don't have a strong enough why, you'll quit. Plain and simple. So you got to figure out that deep emotional reason why that's going to pull you towards the goal. You got to make it compelling. And then from there, once you have the why down, what you need to do is write down, what you've been doing and figuring out, all right, these things don't work. So if you want to lose 20 pounds, well, write down how many times you've been going to the gym, what types of foods have you been eating, and be honest with yourself. Write down and then analyze like what is contributing that could potentially help you, or what's like wasting your time. When you do these things, you kind of realize some things, are really holding you back. Like you may not be thinking like the going out on the weekend is setting you back on your goals, but it might be. You have to eliminate that. So you got to do some, analysis of your habits, and from there, that's where you really take that next step. Like, all right, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z to really get going, and that's where coaching will really come into play. Because you may be like, all right, well, I realize that these things aren't working for me, but I'm not sure what to do next. And if you can't figure it out, that's where you have to ask. And there's a lot of resources out there. Coach Sellers over here, myself. If you're listening to the blog, feel free to contact us, to get you going.
Oh, definitely. And man, that's powerful stuff, man. That's real power. I mean, while I'm sitting here interviewing this man, I'm taking in some of this, and it's just like, wow, like, like I said, that no excuses part. You really have to do that because, you run into a lot of people where they want the results in a short time. That instant gratification, and it's that hard work you got to put in, and you got to go in and you got to grind. And I mean, this man is definitely a pure test to that. So, like, real quick, what would you say, like some nutrition tips that you can give some of the viewers?
Okay, so there's a lot of diets out there, a lot of fad diets. Nutrition pretty much needs to be individual based. There's no one size fits all program. What works for one person may not work for another person. For example, somebody trying to lose weight. You may see somebody saying, "Well, I cut my calories down to 1,000 calories. I'm not losing weight." Well, that's probably not your issue then. Where somebody else like, "Oh no, I did the whole if it fits your macros program and I lost 30 pounds." All right, well, your problem was you were just eating too much. But person A, that wasn't their issue. It was something else they were eating that were causing them to gain weight. So there's another approach involved. So it's going to be individualized. But generally speaking, there's things you want to eat every day. You want to have greens, a lot of greens. Again, I consume 9 cups of kale a day and a cup of broccoli. Wow. So you're talking 10 cups of greens daily. Full of nutrients, antioxidants, good for blood sugar, overall health. Definitely want to have berries, seeds, chia, hemp, flax, things like that. You want to have seeds on a daily basis. You want to make sure that you're taking things for digestion. That's probably one of the more overlooked components of health is the digestive tract. A lot of people don't realize the majority of your immune system comes from your digestive system. A lot of people don't know that. So if you're not taking probiotics, digestive enzymes, and taking fiber, you're really holding yourself back from a lot of results. So you definitely want to make sure that you're consuming those things on a daily basis. And then you want to make sure that, you're getting quality protein. Yeah. If you're vegan, that's great. More power to you. I'm not vegan. I don't really support the vegan thing. But if you do it, hey, I hope it works well for you. But you got to make sure you're getting your protein, lean meats, grass-fed meat, fish, things like that. Just to really keep your muscles fueled up, and protein does a lot of things in the body. So you want to make sure you get enough protein. And the biggest one is really, really, really got a bad rap over the years is you want to be consuming fat. A lot of people are so afraid of fat. Like, if I eat fat, I'm going to get fat. It's actually not true. You actually want healthy fat. Healthy fat is going to be important for hormone optimization. It's a great energy source. It's going to, help your body actually burn fat, especially if you keep the sugar low. So you want to be consuming a healthy fat on a daily basis. Man, so those are just some general tips. And then if you're trying to lose weight, you can manipulate how much of what you eat, or if you're trying to gain some muscle, then you can, add more to it. So there's some flexibility there. But those staples, the greens, seeds, berries, protein, healthy fats, those are things you're going to want to consume on a daily basis across the board.
That's wow. And man, just wow. That's all I can say, man. So, real quick, like, being in this field, I know you probably ran across a lot of athletes. Who would you say is like the biggest athlete you didn't train or had a privilege to work out with?
So as far as athletes, thanks, we're at Accelerate Sports Performance. We're one of the top gyms in the country, and coaching Midwest Boom, we're number one ranked 7-on-7 football teams.
Wow.
So I'm seeing like guys we work with all the time, like ESPN, and getting notoriety. So this is a tough question, but if I had to boil it down to one, the biggest name I would say is Brandon Marshall.
Wow.
He came by the facility a few years ago.
That's dope.
That was pretty cool. The workout got featured on ESPN, NFL Live, because he ran 22 miles per hour on the treadmill. So I got a little TV time standing by the treadmill through ESPN time. So that was pretty cool. So that'd be the name, I would say.
That's awesome, man.
It's Brandon Marshall.
And for those who from Chicago, the beloved Brandon Marshall. We miss him. He had to go to the Jets, but that's dope, man. That's super dope. So, just for the viewers, man, where can they find you?
You can go to my website, www.ingrainedtotrain.com, or you can like us on Facebook, Ingrained to Train, Instagram, Snapchat, Ingrained to Train, and also Twitter as well. I don't check Twitter as much, but I do have a Twitter account, Ingrained to Train as well, with the number 2.
Man, that's awesome. Man, James, it's been an honor and a privilege for you to
thank you for having me on.
Vlog, man. And, this is something that going forward, we definitely going to have this man back.
Absolutely.
Definitely going to be on the podcast too, A&B Conversations. And again, man, it was a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And listen, you guys need to reach out to him and thank him for that for the information that he gave you. So again, ByronSellers.com. Thank you for looking at the vlog. And again, salute.